So in the latest example of fuck around and find out, Utah firefighters watch as the Republican representatives take away their rights to collectively bargain. And it's not just for them, it's for police officers and teachers too. As of Thursday afternoon, HB 267, as written, would eliminate collective bargaining for public sector employees, including teachers, firefighters, and police officers. While it would not prevent public employees from joining or forming unions, it would prohibit government employers from recognizing a labor organization as a bargaining unit. This is once again getting what you vote for. Like, it's 2025. If you haven't figured out that the Republicans are against the working class and against unions and will do anything they can to destroy those things, you're a fucking idiot. You're a union member voting Republican, knowing, you have to know, they're trying to destroy your union and your job. It's like they think, oh, it'll never happen to me. Yes, it will. They don't give a fuck about you.
Utah just made a bold move, and union workers are not happy about it. The state legislature passed a bill banning collective bargaining for public sector unions, leaving teachers, firefighters, and police officers scrambling to protect their rights. Now, the very people who helped put these lawmakers in office are protesting, realizing too late that they actually voted against their own best interests. So guys, what do you think this means for union workers, not only in Utah, but also in other conservative states that people might follow these footsteps? I want us to watch these videos together, and if you're actually being affected by these, I'd love to know what your thoughts are on these or hear about your experience on the comment section. Every clip and every stitch that you'll be seeing on our today's episode, credits belongs to the original creators of these videos. If you're coming across this channel for the first time, my good name is Gracey D. Kindly consider subscribing to this channel, give this video a like. So let's dive right ahead and we'll come back with more commentary.
Claiming that we made a deal with them. We never made a deal with them on neutrality until we talked to our membership. Our membership with AFT, ASME, CWA, and Teamsters was overwhelmingly no. We don't want a neutral stance. So we listened to you. The reason why this is circled and the reason why we are here right now is because all of you stood in solidarity and we're together. They have never seen a presence like this before. This has not been an easy fight. If they had the votes on number one, they would have ran it by now. They don't. And if they run it today, we will let them know, not acceptable. We still have chances that we can do this. Still call your senators. Text into them right now. You let them know that you are out here waiting. You want them to vote no on number one. And if you don't feel good about those substitutes, you tell them you don't even like those. This is you. We're a democracy. We listen to our people. We don't give in to pressure.
I said after the election that we were going to see more and more of these cases. I didn't know it would happen this soon. But there's an element of people who voted for Donald Trump or supported Donald Trump or whose organization was in a position to endorse either candidate and then didn't. And now they're finding out. It is the f around and find out. That's what's happening right now. And firefighters and different public service job people in that sector are really finding out. I don't know what it is about firefighters. I certainly know what it is about cops who want to support somebody like Donald Trump because he wants to give them total immunity for gunning down innocent, unarmed citizens. But firefighters, that's real public service. That they're not granted power to harm citizens. They don't carry weapons. They don't feel like they're authority figures to run roughshod over constitutional rights. They are first responders. They oftentimes show themselves to be heroes. Rarely, that's the case with cops, in my view. But firefighters are different. So it bothers me and it makes me quizzical, to say the least, as to why they would withhold their endorsement as a union, as a group, as a collective from Kamala Harris, refusing to endorse this election. They endorsed Joe Biden in 2020, but why not Kamala Harris? Curious, you would think they would be smart enough, intellectual enough to noodle through what the outcome would be of supporting Donald Trump and a party that doesn't want to fund anything other than tax cuts for the super wealthy. Here's a headline from October 3rd from the New York Times. Firefighters Union declines to endorse a presidential candidate. The International Association of Firefighters was one of the first unions to endorse Joe Biden in 2020. In 2024, its board voted not to endorse at all. They took the tack of the Washington Post and the LA Times. We're just not going to make an endorsement, which is a tacit endorsement, is what it is. Smash cut to December 21st, New York Post. Fire unions livid as funding for 9/11 health fund excluded from federal budget. Funds in jeopardy.
Because we don't have time in our day. Our job is focusing on the students, and unions help represent us to make sure that we get our points, we get things we needed in our classroom. Our voices matter, and we don't have the time to come to legislative meetings and to fight for those things, but our focus is on the classroom, and in a union, they represent us and are our voice.
So this affects all of us. This is a lot bigger than teachers, and in fact, it's a lot bigger than collective bargaining. So much of the focus has been based on collective bargaining, but my department, Unified Fire Authority, does not have collective bargaining. But this bill completely removes our ability to collaborate and continue to cooperate with the elected officials in our administration.
I definitely feel like this is a big, punch in the gut to educators, police officers, firefighters. We were under the impression that we could kind of watch this and kind of see where it goes, and then it was kind of ripped from under us and pushed through. So we're hoping that Governor Cox does his part and vetoes it.
Okay, y'all, that's in Utah, and that's public service workers protesting to the GOP legislation because unions, okay? Here's the thing, I don't feel bad for them at all, because you guys were all warned about this, and then even after the election, you were all happy, daddy's back, and we kept saying to you guys, I guess you're gonna have to learn the hard way. I guess you're just gonna have to learn the hard way. It's not our lesson to learn, it's y'all's lessons to learn, and so here you guys are, learning your lesson the hard way, and there is zero fucking sympathy for you, because all of us who saw it coming screamed from the rooftops about Project 2025, and you all told us we were full of shit. Looks like we were not full of shit, and you guys are now in the shit.
I can't understand how any union member voted for Trump outside of voting for racism. Notice in that video, you don't see a black face nowhere in that crowd. Black people and minorities are being locked out of the blue-collar jobs. I believe it's going to be our downfall. A lot of people don't want to do blue-collar jobs. We need to motivate kids more to get into the trades, but the trades are full of racism, sexism, nepotism, and favoritism. We need to eliminate it in our unions. It's disgusting. It's time. You guys voted against your own money. You should have voted for your families. You voted for racism. Fuck around and find out.
Let the union busting games begin. This bill prohibits public employers from recognizing labor organizations for negotiating. This prohibits people from entering collective bargaining contracts. Basically, Utah's House of Representatives just shit all over their teachers, their firefighters, their police officers, their EMTs, probably like CPS workers, and all sorts of employees. Unfortunately, this is only the beginning. It'll soon be private sector, and it'll be many, many more states. It's all part of P 2025, just like we said. Not to mention that 45 and Muscanazi here, they hate unions. They hate them.
I know it's crazy that this happened, but I mean, these people actually voted for this. The reason as to why I'm saying this, there were so many things. I actually did a video talking about Project 2025, and most people said, they were like, you know what, this is not true, it's not gonna happen, there's nothing like that. So yeah, so there's this article that was produced by Capital and Main, and they had stated 10 ways Project 2025 could undermine workers' rights. And I went on number 4, that was eliminating public sector's union. The elders question whether public sector unions are appropriate in the first place, calling on Congress to consider whether they are allowable. These unions cover about a third of the public sector workforce, or 7 million people. And when people were being told to go and look about or get to familiarize themselves with Project 2025, most of them were like, this is not going to happen. And as the lady said on the video, as you've seen, like looking at all these people that are out there protesting, I haven't seen any colored person there, I haven't seen any melanated person out there. So most of these people actually voted for their own self-interest, and it actually shows this is a place where there was no diversity, which is actually quite sad. And now they effed around and now they're finding out. Yeah, and I later went on ahead and like I was researching on what will be the negative effects of banning collective bargain for public sector unions, and number one was lower wages and benefits. Without collective bargaining, public sector workers, teachers, firefighters, police officers will have little to no power in negotiating fair wages. I mean, these are people that put their lives in line. These are people that actually dedicate themselves and their lives to serving the country. And this is how these people wanna, you know, it's quite sad. But then at the same time, they voted for these. They voted against their own best interest. It's quite sad that these are actually people that give services to the country, but the country won't treat them like this. I actually feel sorry for them. I don't know if I should feel sorry for them being ignorant or feel sorry because some of them voted the way they were voted because of racism and hate. So number two was declining work conditions. Unions play a crucial role in ensuring safe working conditions. Without collective bargaining, employees, government agencies could cut back on worker protections, leading to more stressful and unsafe work environments, and which is quite sad. So increased worker turnover and shortages with fewer protections and lower wages could struggle to attract and retrain qualified teachers, firefighters, and law enforcement officers. This could result in staff shortages, increased burnout, and a decline in quality of public services. I mean, if I know I can move to another state whereby actually my rights as a worker are protected, I'd rather go to that state, because there's no way I'm gonna serve a state, I'm gonna serve people in my country, but they don't appreciate the work that I put in. If I'm a teacher and I'm a public teacher, I'd rather go and, you know, work in a private school. And this will actually make even things harder for people that live in this state, which is quite sad, guys. So others will be like loss of job security, weakening of workers' political power, ripple effect across other states, lower quality public services. And this bill, guys, is just not an attack on unions. It's an attack on the stability and well-being of public sector workers. The irony is that many of these workers likely voted for politicians pushing this legislation, and now they are finding out in the hard way. And I was sitting here thinking, what does this actually mean for other conservative states? Will they actually follow on the same? Because this is something that this new administration talked on about in Project 2025, but most people are very ignorant about it. And the reason is because their president or their guy told them that he has nothing to do with this, but each and every person that sat down and wrote that Project 2025 or came out with that Project 2025 is working in his administration. So it's not like he didn't have an idea of what this meant. He did, but because you all believed him, now it's your F around and find out season. And you may be watching this and maybe you're also in a conservative state and you'll be like, maybe this is not going to affect me. You don't know what they're planning. And it's crazy seeing that in this short period of time, so much has come out and so many people are actually finding out. So many people are in the FAFO season era. Some, their F around and find out season is yet to begin because it hasn't yet been a month and people are going through this. People are already protesting. It's not yet even a month and some people are actually saying that they don't want this guy in power. It's not yet even a month and people are regretting their votes. It's just the other day that I saw Republicans regretting how they voted, and actually they came publicly to apologize to people because everything that these people are going through, this will affect the whole country. each and every other citizen in this country will be affected by these policies. And the saddest part is that they voted the way they voted because they thought these policies are only going to affect Democrats, all the minorities, all the melanated people. And now they are finding out that, oh my goodness, we messed up and this is coming for us. And the reason as to why they are acting the way they're acting is because all this caught them by surprise, because they never expected to be affected by these. Let me know what your thoughts are on the comment section. Also, I would love to remind you, if you're watching this, because I've seen a couple of you are saying and creating so many videos and saying, I know we're not regretting and all that. If you're watching these and you actually voted against your own self-interest, and you're sitting there and you don't want to admit whatever is happening, and trying also to blame the previous administration, I want you to know that next time you learn not to vote against your own self-interest. Also to remind you that next time that you're going to cast your vote, go through all the policies that both politicians or the parties that are there vying for this seat, go through the policies, get to understand the policies. Don't just look at the policies that actually favor you. Look at all the policies, get to understand them. You can have a discussion with people if you're not understanding some of these policies, and thereon you'll be able to choose the candidate that you want to stick on. This is also a lesson for people not to vote because of race or gender. Don't choose your leader because of the race that they come from. Don't choose your leader because of the gender. Always choose leaders that are actually for you and for the country or the nation. So you all voted to make America great again, but from what I see each and every single day that I wake up from my FYP page, is people are complaining. So much is happening, and actually feel bad that people that didn't vote for this, they have to go through these problems. They have to go through your FAFO and find out error with you just because you voted against your own self-interest because of so much hate and racism. I always remind people on every episode that I do about the FAFO and find out season is that racism is quite expensive and it's gonna cost you a lot more than you think. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching up to this part. Kindly consider subscribing to this channel if you haven't, and until the next episode, bye.